Since the war in Afghanistan began, and U.S. troop levels there are expected to decrease significantly in the coming months. Is the end really near? How do we safely withdraw our troops while also ensuring that Afghanistan doesn't fall back into the hands of our enemies? Well, Congressman Adam Smith is a Democrat from Washington, also the ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee, and it's very good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on.
A lot of people are concerned about the announcement of withdrawal and also it seems to be the movement your committee included in reducing the funds that our troops have available. What's your position?
Well, those are two separate issues. The first question is, what's the best national security strategy in Afghanistan? There's no question that region, Afghanistan and parts of Pakistan, pose a national security threat to our country. How do we contain it? I do think we've made progress in Afghanistan. I've been there, down in the south in Kandahar province, and I have seen the Taliban have been driven back. And the local Afghan population is now able to govern itself in relative safety. So progress has been made, but ultimately we have to turn responsibility for running and protecting that country over to the Afghan people. We've begun that process. It has to happen. We've been there for 10 years now. We cannot be a permanent presence. No matter when we leave, there will be some risk. But we, I believe, have done a good job of helping prepare the Afghan people to best protect themselves. So I'm in favor of beginning the drawdown and moving towards the Afghans taking responsibility for their own security in their own country, as I think all would agree is appropriate.
Congressman, I had the privilege this week of speaking with 3 generals, and I asked each of them, and they've spent a lot of time in Afghanistan, about the fact that the enemy knows when we will begin to leave. And it seems that everybody agrees the concern and the ability to complete this mission properly, it lies in our ability to work with Pakistan. What about the funding that we give to that country and the fact that sometimes they're on our side and sometimes you got to ask whether they are?
Right. It's a huge difficulty and an enormous problem. And we are going to have a containment strategy in Afghanistan and, frankly, in good chunks of Pakistan, where we know al-Qaeda and other Taliban extremist elements are at. We're going to have to continue that containment strategy, and we're not going to be able to trust Pakistan. I think that's been clear, but at the same time, we're going to have to look for opportunities to work with them. It's an incredibly complicated and difficult relationship. But, you know, President Obama said this when he announced his strategy in 2009, that you can't just look at Afghanistan. It's Afghanistan and Pakistan together, and our containment strategy has to figure out both, and he's done that. We've been very aggressive in the federally administered tribal areas of Pakistan, going after al-Qaeda and Taliban leadership. We have had that comprehensive strategy.
Would you agree then, sir, that perhaps the strategy could be for the 2 governments of Pakistan and Afghanistan, if we are going to support each in a financial way, directly or indirectly by funding our troops, that we insist that they get together and work this out if we are going to leave that country?
Well, I think we're certainly going to have to continue to urge them to do that, but we don't control them. We don't control Afghanistan. We don't control Pakistan. We have to use whatever tools we have in our toolbox to push them to do the right thing in these areas. But leaving 100,000 U.S. troops there permanently isn't a solution either, because that comes with its own set of problems. We can't have a permanent presence. The Afghan people won't stand for it, and it's not sustainable, because both Afghanistan and Pakistan have to be responsible for governing and securing their own country. Now, our troops have done an incredible job. I've seen it, the progress that has been made, and at great sacrifice, to give the Afghan people a chance at that better government, a chance at stopping the Taliban from returning to their destructive power. It's there, but the Afghan people have to take it. There's always going to be risk, no matter when we leave. If we left 20 years from now, that would be true. But I think we have made progress, and we have to work with those partners as unreliable as they are.
All right, sir. I know your committee very much holds the purse strings, at least to get the funding. Families of troops certainly want them to have everything they need to get it done and get home. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Whatever we do in Afghanistan and Pakistan, we have to fund it. I'll 100% agree with you on that. You know, if we're not prepared to provide the funds to adequately support 100,000 troops, then we better reduce it. Whatever we do, we have to provide the funds to make sure our troops have the tools they need to do the job we've asked them to do. I agree with that.
Agreed.
Completely.
Thank you, sir. 10 years in. We'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.